you can see a massive field of production cars. Car 33, unfortunately, Brandon Jarius is on the infield and out of this one. 33 decided it didn't want to take part. To the white line, wait for the green one. Here we go. Dan Henshaw into the race lead versus car number 30, Brad Shearer. Shearer's caught high on the racetrack. We got one who's got all of the tyres hooked to the front of the car, and that is no good there for Simon Walker. They're going to leave the green one on. Dan Henshaw versus Joel Berkeley. Tucked in there is Tony Owen. Next one through will be Brad Shearer. That's the front four as they go round the western corner. Daniel Henshaw, Joel Berkeley having a look down the inside. Car number 8 is Tony Owen. And now we've got a yellow because we've got a problem in turn 2. Nose to tail restart. We got a couple of laps down. Dan Henshaw, Joel Berkeley. I think you'll find Tony Owen might be in position number 3. Brad Shearer would be the next one, Rory Evans. Joel Berkeley and Tony Owen. Brad Shearer won't be too far away from that. Watch for a green one, this time outside the Witch's Hat we go. Dan Henshaw, Joel Berkeley, Tony Owen, that's the 3 of them that head down the back chute, just to the better of Brad Shearer. Next one through there will be the 59 car of Darren Lester as they go down the main straightaway one more time. Daniel Henshaw, Joel Berkeley. Tucked in there is Tony Owen. Owen is not too far away in position number 3. The League 2 cars up a little higher on the racetrack. Dan Henshaw leaves a bit of room for Joel Berkeley. Berkeley drives through underneath as they go past the control tower, and Joel Berkeley goes to the race lead from Daniel Henshaw. Tony Owen would be the next one. Brad Shearer, though, is the one on the outside, and Brad Shearer may have inherited position number 3. Under the control tower they go, Shearer and Owen side by side battling out to positions 3 and 4. Back then to Darren Lester. Sam Grundy would be the next one in line as they drive around the outside of Rory Evans. Joel Berkeley, the race leader, to the better of Daniel Henshaw. Back then we go to Brad Shearer, who's got himself into a good 3rd position. Tony Owen. Back behind him will be Darren Lester. That's the front 5 down the main straightaway once again. Nothing much between the front 3 cars. It's Joel Berkeley, Daniel Henshaw and Brad Shearer. Bit of a gap then goes back to Tony Owen in the 8 car, Darren Lester and Sam Grundy. Again down the main straightaway, and Joel Berkeley, if anything, has opened up a little bit of a lead. Joel Berkeley down the back straightaway past the pit gate. Joel Berkeley. Dan Henshaw. Car number 30 is Brad Shearer. Closing in a little bit on Henshaw as they head down the main straightaway. A bit of a gap back. Then we go to Tony Owen, who's falling back into the grips of Darren Lester. Sam Grundy is the 16 car, with Chris Pagel trying to find a way around the outside. We'll stick with the lead car, Joel Berkeley, who's opened up a good lead over Daniel Henshaw. Car number 30, Brad Shearer, is right in this mix as Shearer looks for the outside pass. Tony Owen is still back there in position 4, and Darren Lester around the western corner. Brad Shearer has a little look down the inside of Daniel Henshaw. Can he get the drive down the main straight? Not this time. Joel Berkeley got a comfortable lead as they go past the pit gate. Joel Berkeley to the better of Daniel Henshaw. Brad Shearer back then to Darren Lester, who's got himself up in a position number 4, but he's got the length of the main straightaway to make up, to get up to challenge for a minor placing back to Tony Owen. Chris Pagel now starting to make a little bit of distance on the outside of the racetrack, but a long way from our race leader, who's going under the control tower, and that is Joel Berkeley. Berkeley to the better of Daniel Henshaw and Brad Shearer. Big gap back then to Darren Lester in front of Tony Owen. Chris Pagel would be the next one, Sam Grundy, and Rory Evans down on the inside. Race leaders down the main straight away. He's got some lap traffic coming up in front of him. Joel Berkeley, Dan Henshaw, back behind him is Brad Shearer. A long gap back then to Darren Lester, who's coming under some attack from Chris Pagel. Pagel down on the inside of the racetrack. Under the control tower goes our race leader, Joel Berkeley. Daniel Henshaw, car number 30 behind him then is Brad Shearer. Next one we've got is still Darren Lester, Chris Pagel, Rory Evans down the inside, and Tony Owen. Race leader is up on the tail of some of the slower cars, and Moss Woodrow is the first one of those. Down the back straight for Joel Berkeley. Woodrow, the next car to put a lap on him. A big gap back then to Daniel Henshaw. Henshaw still in a battle with Brad Shearer. To the outside of Moss Woodrow goes our race leader. Remember, the lap cars do not have to move out of the way. They've just got to hold a line. That allows Joel Berkeley to know he can drive around the outside as they go down the main straightaway. Joel Berkeley around the outside of Moss Woodrow, back then to Daniel Henshaw. Brad Shearer not too far away. Chris Pagel's got himself up to position 4. Next one behind him will be Darren Lester. We'll go back to our race leader, who's now got a whole pack of lapped cars in front of him. That's Joel Berkeley. Berkeley, first one in front of him will be Nick Blaze. Blaze, we've got a yellow light. Wow. And car number 8 doesn't sound too well at all. Tony Owen gets it onto the infield. That might be a motor by the sound of that. The 57 car was the problem. That's Thomas Fuller. That will go back to a nose to tail restart. Joel Berkeley, Daniel Henshaw, Brad Shearer, Chris Pagel, Darren Lester. Rory Evans would be the next one. Matty McGee is in there, as is Sam Grundy. Joel Berkeley leads them slowly down the main straightaway. Wants to stay high on the racetrack. There's a green one. Let's go racing, he said. Immediately drives to the infield because he knew that's where Daniel Henshaw would go. So Joel Berkeley, Daniel Henshaw, Chris Pagel's got himself up into position number 3 as they go round the western corner. Daniel Henshaw down the inside of Joel Berkeley. They will settle down to scrap it out over the final few laps of this one. Together they go down the back straight away. Daniel Henshaw, Joel Berkeley. Brad Shearer on the outside of Chris Pagel. Next one there would be Darren Lester. Nothing in it as they go down the main straight once again. White flag out. Joel Berkeley versus Daniel Henshaw. Henshaw down the inside. Chris Pagel down the inside of Brad Shearer. Into the western corner for the last time. Will it be a final corner? Down through turn 4. Down the main straight away. Side by side. Give it to Joel Berkeley. Daniel Henshaw, Brad Shearer, Chris Pagel. And we got a big one right at the end. Wow. What a way to finish. Rory Evans. Here he comes, folks. Put your hands together for him. Okay, folks, thank you very much for your attendance. As you can see, Joel Berkeley enjoying himself. Lap of honour. Don't forget, as we've been saying throughout the night, that Easter time will be the Australian production sedan title right here at Ian Botcher Race Parts, Kingaroy Speedway. And Joel Berkeley has shown everyone that he's ready. Dan Henshaw, Brad Shearer. 1, 2, 3. There will be a presentation for Super Sedans over in the pit area. Chat with Joel, no? We'll sneak over here very quickly while he's having a bit of a talk. Joel, before you go, congratulations, well done.
Cheers, Paul. Yeah, look, great way to, I guess, prelude to the title in 3 weeks, but hopefully didn't use our luck up here and we get the job done in 3 weeks' time. But who knows? It's wide open. There's going to be 100 cars here, so it's going to be a crazy weekend, that's for sure. And just be awesome to finish in the top 5 really when we get there. So just see what we can do.
Well done, Joel Berkeley. Fantastic feature race. Thank you again, folks, for your attendance. We'll see you over Easter right here at Ian Botcher Race Parts, Kingaroy Speedway.